Alright, today is Yoga for Strength, so it's a work hard class, kind of get into the physical body so much that you don't have a lot of time to think about anything else. Building some physical strength. We are working on legs and feet today a lot. Make any modifications that you need. Listen to your body as we go along. And if you have blocks, they can be handy, but not 100% necessary. You can find something you can use. We're going to be coming into some toe stand practices, so if you feel like you need a chair to help you balance, have one handy. Otherwise, come on down to your back. We'll get started on our back. So find a comfortable position for your hips on the ground, maybe bringing your feet wide, knees in. Start to land on your mat, letting go of everything that came before this moment and everything that's yet to come. Landing right into your breath in this present moment. Starting to observe your breath. Notice any holding patterns or tension in the torso. Notice what happens when you begin to focus on your breath. All kinds of things can happen. It's different for everybody. Some people, when you say focus in on your breath, you immediately start slowing with your muscles. Some people, this can cause some anxious thoughts. So just noticing where you are at. Maybe even bringing your hands to your torso and just feeling the warmth of your hands as your breath moves in your torso. Bring your awareness to your neck and your shoulders. Notice any holding patterns and tension. Maybe give them a soft little shuffle. See if you can let some of that go. And then bring the palm of any hand and place it right on your forehead. And just feel your hand on your forehead. Feel a little bit of pressure on the back of the skull on the ground. And then see if you can send your awareness around the muscles in your lower jaw and down your neck. Imagining bringing a little more softness to this space. And then let that hand go. Take your chin all the way over towards the right shoulder. Plant the left hand down on the ground and just play with the position of the hand, activating the arm a little, seeing if you can find any places of tension that maybe you can start to release in the neck. And then slowly bring the chin all the way over to the other side. Press down into the ground with the right hand. And then bring the chin back to neutral. Bring the feet to the ceiling. Just experience feet up in the air. Spread the toes wide. Open up the toes. Pull the toes down towards the shins and then curl them under. Pull them down, curl them under. Then pull them down and take slow circles with only the feet, not the legs. Just really slow, feeling everything from the ankle down and then back the other way. And then bring the toes towards the shins and then turn the toes in towards each other. Find the muscles that activate in the legs. And then turn the toes out. Press the hips down a little into the ground. Turn the toes in. And then turn the toes out. And bring the knees in. Give yourself a little hug. And then take the feet long, about hip width apart on the ground. We're going to focus on whole body core. So all of the core. You can bring your hands down by your hips, and we're going to lift the shoulders a little. So press down a little bit into the ground with the hips. Press down a little bit into the ground with the heels. And then lift the shoulders. So think about lifting the shoulders rather than lifting the head and neck. Just lift the shoulders. You can use your hands for balance. You can use your hands to help lift you. Or you can hold and hover your hands. Make it a little more challenging. Try looking up to the ceiling. See if that engages a little bit more of that front line. Really in close to the spine. Hold and hover here. And then bring it down. Take a little rest. Take a side to side with the neck, the chin, just to make sure that you're not holding tension in the neck. Pay attention to the neck here. If you need to place something in under the head because your neck is not strong enough, please do so. So we're going to lift up the shoulders again. Find that point. You don't need to lift them up really high. Just a little teeny bit just to engage. Press the hips down into the ground. Hold and hover. Maybe you can lift the hands. And then maybe you can lift the toes off the ground also. Really pushing those hips down into the ground. Breathe and hold. And then bring it down. Take a little reset. And then bring it back up, set up, maybe even lifting the feet. Hold and hover, squeeze the core, push the hips down into the ground, push the rib cage into the ground, lift the shoulders only, and then take the right hand towards the right foot and the left hand towards the left foot. Small, tiny side to side movements. Squeeze the core. And then bring the knees in, give yourself a little hug, reset. Take the feet back up to the ceiling, press the hips down into the ground. Just really press the hips into the ground. I don't know what Kaylee's doing over there. Press down into the ground, set up first. You can use your hands to lift your shoulders. This time we're going to keep our feet up to the ceiling and lift our shoulders. Still trying to use that lower core. Maybe even hover the hands. Press the hips down into the ground. Press actively. And then push right hand away from you, left hand away from you. Little squeezes. Chin towards the ceiling, squeeze and hold. Slowly start to bring your feet down lower and lower. Still going left and right. Squeeze the core. Push the hips down into the ground. And then bring your knees in and give yourself a little hug. Take your knees in big circles, pressing the hips down into the ground. Slow circles, bring them in towards each other and then out and away from each other. Nice slow circles. You can use your hands on your knees as guides. And then rock it side to side. Wiggle the toes. Wiggle the feet, and then take it on over to a side and come up seat. And nice and tall. Kaylee is going to be like 3 steps behind us this whole day. She is not in the mood, clearly. Coming up nice and tall in your seat. Let the shoulders soften. Let the spine feel a little taller. Bring the chin down all the way to the chest. And then all the way up to the ceiling. Back to neutral, ear to shoulder. Back to neutral, other ear. Back to neutral, shoulder circles nice and slow. And inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, bend the elbows, make a big W with the arms. Pull the elbows behind you. Active pull behind you and notice compensation patterns. So check in on the neck. See what the lower back's doing. Little engagement in the stomach. Inhale and then exhale, push the hands away. Inhale, draw it open. Exhale, push the hands away, hollow the belly. Active hands. Active arms and shoulders. Check in on your feet and your hips. Soften the face. And then take soft circles with the wrist. Back the other way, nice and soft and slow. Spread the fingers wide and then claw the fingers in nice and slow. Feeling the muscles in the hands. Claw around. Maybe even looking at the hands, connecting with the muscles that make this movement. And then come on over to a tabletop position. Moving and breathing here. Inhale forward, exhale towards jab. Inhale forward, connecting with our hands on the ground, starting to warm up our arms and hands and wrists. And then set up in tabletop. We're going to take right hand out, left leg back. Lift the core, activate the stomach, activate the chest. To make it more challenging, take right hand even with the shoulder. Bring left foot towards the left wrist. Engage the side body. Breathe and hold. And then take little pulses of the heel up towards the ceiling. Breathe and hold steady. Don't drop into that left shoulder. Bring the left foot even with the hip. Lower the toes. Keep this right arm hovering. Press through the back heel. And then thread right arm underneath the left. Nice and strong and engaged here. We're going to push through and pull back. Push through, pull back. Really activate that left shoulder. So lifting up, lifting this right shoulder up, and then bringing it back down. And then bring right hand to meet left hand. Left knee down, and send it back for child's pose to reset. Back up to tabletop, left arm up, right leg back. Left arm even with the shoulder, and right foot comes towards right hand for the challenge. Hold and hover. Little pulses of the heel to the ceiling.
Do those, my hip locks. It hurts so bad it locks.
Squeeze the core.
It hurts so bad on the outside of my hip.
You gotta get the hip strong. Bring the right foot even with the hip. Lower the toes. Keep the left arm lifted. Press through the heel. Thread the left arm through. Pull back. Push through. Active. Press into the right hand and lift up out of the ground. So nice strong right arm, strong left arm, strong shoulder. And bring right hand down, left hand down, right knee down. Then take another child's pose. Reset. Make your way to down dog, tuck in the toes, lift the hips up out of the ground. Engage from the fingertips to the hips, really pulling the hips up out of the ground. Maybe bend the knees deeply and then send the legs towards straight. Bending and straightening. Take the tension out of the neck, out of the face. And then find the stillness of down dog. Catch your breath. Turn your world upside down. Bend both knees. Send the right foot towards the glute. Pull the knee up. We're going to hop here. So if you want to practice your hops for handstands, we're just going to bring that knee down to meet the left and then send it up. Little knee down, little up. This is your starting point. Come down and up. Bending both knees and up, and then maybe starting to hop the left foot in a little. So coming up and hopping. Little hop. Little tiny hop. Small hop. So you push with the right heel, hop off the left. Push, hop. Push, hop. And then land it into a three-legged dog, right leg lifted. Bend the right knee. Bring it behind the right wrist. Set up for lunge. So landing your right leg down and finding some movement. Inhaling forward. Exhaling backwards. Good time to use your blocks if you have them. Find some movement that feels good. Connecting with all of the points of your foot. The front foot. And connecting with being strong from the right foot to the left foot. So this left leg isn't just flopping around and back. We're active, moving, finding some strength. Inhale forward, exhale backwards. And then land in a low lunge, nice and strong. Bend the back knee, lower it to a hover, squeeze and hold. Maybe you can lift up off the fingertips, hold here to a hover. And then lower the back knee entirely, untuck the toes. Send the hips backwards, a great place to bring your blocks with you. We're looking to find the back of the front leg. So lift the toes. You can press into the heel like you're pushing the foot away from you, or feel like you're pulling it back. Two different ways to find the back of your leg.
I saw myself bleed. Scratched over my back.
Finding the back of the leg, and then feel some movement. Press the toes down, pull the toes back. A little bit of movement. Come forward, bring the weight onto the front leg. Maybe pop up the back, bring the heel towards the glute. If this is too much for your knee, slide something under your knee or try wiggling the foot on the front leg a little further forward. Maybe you can come further forward on the front of the knee, off the kneecap. Bring the heel towards the glute. Actively pull the heel towards the glute without your hand. So really use the back of your leg to pull the heel towards the glute. This is yoga for strength, not yoga for stretch. So actively try and pull the heel closer. Active, active, active. Bring the toes down. Bring the heel up. Toes down. Heel up. Nice and slow and with control. Tuck the toes. Come on up. Low lunge. And then up to high lunge. Woo. Find your base. Find a steady base. So maybe bringing this back leg in a little to balance a little sturdier. We're going to inhale, lift. Exhale, torso forward, knees bend. Inhale, lift. Torso forward, back knee bends. Find a little movement in the legs. Inhale, fresh. Exhale, sweep away. And then bring it down, torso down, hold, get really strong. So both legs strong. Feel strong in the back leg, feel strong in the front leg, engage. And then we're going to come forward on the front and pop up the back. Hold and hover. Land the back foot, should be really close to the front now. Stand on up. Two legs straight, close together, really close together. Inhale, lift our arms up. We're going to come on up to our balls of our feet, nice and slow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Try not to lock your knees. Nice and slow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then one at a time, inhale, lift left, and then inhale, lift right. Squeeze the lower core a little to keep you super stable. If your arms are getting tired, feel free to bring them down to your hips. And then maybe just switch back and forth, nice and slow and with control. And then bring it all the way up, both heels lifted, arms overhead. Bend both knees, nice and slow. Bring the arms down to the shoulders. We're going to send the hips down nice and low, slow as we can. Hold and hover, engage. And bring it on back. Slowly down. Hold and hover. Seriously strong legs, strong arms. Watch for compensation patterns in the back. Bring it on back. And then bring it up to mountain pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, prayer to heart. Inhale, open, bring in fresh. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time. Bring it down to your heart and land in your mountain pose and do a body scan. Land on your own 2 feet. Have an internal experience. What feels different than when we started? You're going to bring the hands out ahead of the shoulders. Bring the heels lifted. Doesn't matter how high, you can bring them a little lifted or all the way up. Oh, you can't see because of my block. A little bit lifted or all the way up. Make a choice about how strong your feet are. It's all about strength. Where are you strongest? If you have to keep them down, go ahead and keep them down. Lift the heels. Bring all the strength in front of the hips. So really pull the stomach in towards the hips. Hold. And then we're going to send the hips as slow as we can down, keeping the legs engaged. Legs should be strong the whole way down. Slow as you can until we're in toe stand. Try to hover the hips if you can. Hold and hover if you can. If you cannot, find your block, hold on to your block, build the strength in your legs and feet. Try not to sink your heels onto your glutes, onto your heels. Lift up, hold and hover, build strength. And then slowly find your way into Malasana. So if you have a block, grab your block as you adjust your weight. Press into the block. Take the feet a little bit wider. And land slowly down Malasana. So go left, right. Find your way down there. Notice how hips wide feels a lot different. Once you get to Malasana, you can choose to press into your arms. Legs press into arms, arms press into legs. That two-way engagement. Or you can hang out and sit on the block. Try to get tall in the spine. Look for compensation patterns. Soften your face, soften your breath. And you can hang out here on the block, or if you want to go for the strength challenge, you're going to hold the block, hold it out, engage it, press into the heels, and lift up nice and slow. Bring it on down. Inhale as you rise. Exhale as you lower. How did I know Kaylee wasn't going to do this? Inhale.
I'm not sitting on the block though. I'm choosing the middle.
Exhale as you lower. Inhale as you rise. Exhale as you lower. This time bring hands down towards the right foot. Inhale as you rise. Exhale as you lower. Bring it down to the left. 2 more rounds. Inhale, lift, right foot. Inhale, lift, left foot. Inhale, lift, right foot. Inhale, lift, left foot. Find Malasana. Find your breath. And then just find the ground. Bring your glutes down. Find an easy seat. Get nice and tall. Bring your feet down, knees up. Lean back. Lean back with the stomach engaged, not rolling onto the lower back. So lean back. Tall. Engage the core. Lift the toes. So engage lower core. Press the hips into the ground. Press, press, press. Little pumps of the legs. Take the tension out of the neck. Breathe. Right foot down. Hold and hover left foot. Engage a little more. Pull the toes towards the shin. Try to take as much weight as you can out of the hands. Hold and hover this leg.
You're hovering your right foot and your left foot is down.
All right, whatever. We're going to bring the knee in and out nice and slow and with control. We're really looking for this hip flexor strength. Find it. You need it for the final pose. So bring this strength in. And then lower that leg and take some wiggle. And switch sides. Hold and hover the other leg, whichever leg you just did. Apparently I was talking and doing opposites. So hold and hover. Try to take the weight out of the hands. Engage in the core. Really engaging top of this thigh. Engage, hold, and hover. Notice if one side's easier than the other. And then bringing knee in, push out. So really engage the whole time, not just flopping this leg around, but really finding the muscles that hold the leg up. Bring the leg down, take some wiggles, come over crossed legs, find a tabletop, settle into a tabletop, finding your hands on the ground, taking a little side shuffle, feeling the shoulders. And then tuck the toes, lift and hover the knees. So engaging the core, engaging the arms and shoulders. From here, we're going to inhale as we come forward, bring the knee forward. Exhale as we push back. Inhale forward, exhale, push back. Bringing one knee at a time to meet the elbow. Engage in as slow as we can. Take a pause, knees hover. This time we're going to take opposite knee to opposite elbow. Inhale forward, knee across and back. Knee across and back. Nice and engaged, trying to connect with which muscles make these movements. We're not just flopping our body around, we're trying to make mind-body connections with all of the complicated muscles in our body. What muscles make what movements? Which ones are stronger than the others? What needs a little work? And then lower the knees and find a child's pose. Reset. Find your breath. Catch your thoughts. Upper body up. If you have a block, it's a good time to find your block. Bring your upper body up. Place the right foot pressing down into the ground. Lift the right knee and pull back, just opening up the front of the right shin, front of the right foot. If you are already strong and can lean and lift both knees, go ahead. Lift both knees up, opening the front of the feet and the front of the legs. If not, right leg only, and then left leg only. Lift and hover. Send the hips back till you feel. You're going to feel like you're pulling the foot towards the knee without letting it move. And lower it down. Wiggle the toes. Feel the feet. And then make your way to a down dog. Bend the knees deeply, setting up. Lift the right heel towards the left heel towards the left glute. And then we're going to press the left heel up, bend both knees, starting to work the foot and leg until maybe we can start to come up little hops. Send the heel up, lift the right foot. Send the heel up, lift the right foot. Little hops. And maybe get to a handstand. And then lift into a three-legged dog. Bend the left foot. Bring it behind the left wrist. Set up for a little lunge on the side. So finding some movement, inhaling forward and exhaling backwards. And then bring the back knee to a low, low hover. Hold. Engaging both legs. Slowly lower the right knee and tuck the toes. Send the hips backwards. And find the back of the left leg. So we don't need to bring our torso down to find the back of the left leg. Try pushing into the heel or pulling the heel backwards. See how that changes where you feel it in the back of the leg. We don't need to pull into the lower back and keep the torso up nice and long. And then bring the weight back onto the left leg. Slowly come forward till you can pop up onto the front of the right knee. And then bring the heel towards the glute. Active and strong, pull the heel towards the glute. Lower the toes, pull back. Lower the toes, pull back and hold, engage. Watch this left hip. Are you sinking into the hip? Are you still engaged around the left hip? Lower the toes. Lift up the back leg. Low lunge. And then all the way up. High lunge. Okay. And we're going to move and breathe in high lunge. So lift up long. Exhale, bend both back knee, torso forward. Inhale long. And back knee. Sweep and fresh. Sweep away things no longer needed. Bring the torso down over the front leg. Bend the back leg deeply. Engage both legs. Hold. And then bring the weight onto the front leg. Pop up the back. Hold and hover. Just a teeny bit off the ground. Bent leg. And then lower the toes. And both feet should be pretty close together. Engage. Hold. Inhale, arms up. And exhale. Pause. For an inhale, lift heels. Nice and slow. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Nice and slow and with control. Try not to lock the knees. And then switch it up one heel at a time. Again, you can take the arms out if your arms are tired. Otherwise, hold strong arms. And then back and forth, left and right. Feel your own legs and your feet. Get nice and strong. Lift and hover both heels. Hold. And then bring right to meet left, mountain pose, hands to prayer heart. Take a little left and right, shuffle, notice your feet. And then we're going to come down to toe stand and play in toe stand. So have your blocks ready in front of you. We're going to come to toe stand, starting by lifting the heels to wherever you can. They don't have to be super high. Lift and hover. Bring the arms out. First, engage your lower core. So really pull that core towards the spine. Get your center of gravity in front of the hips. Get the hips nice and stable. Almost like you're pushing the hips forward a little. Engage the legs. And then come down nice and slow. Find your toe stand. Find that point where you can hover the hips and hold. So, to play with this next move, you may want to just hold on to the blocks first until you can get the shape. We're going to move the weight onto the left, trying not to sink on the heel. So glutes are still hovering. We're going to see if we can bring right leg forward and hover. Woo. Using our blocks, squeeze the legs. Maybe you can lift the hands and hover. Woo. And then obviously switch sides. Trying not to sit. Mistake people often make is they sit onto the heel of the opposite foot. You lose your strength. So lift up, hold your strength, and then hold the opposite leg out. You can point it, you can hold it, just whichever way you feel strong, and then maybe you can balance, play. When you're done playing, come on down to a seat. Take your legs out, shuffle them and wiggle them. Loosen. See if you can get them to wobble like a bowl of jelly. Take the heels down onto the ground, little bend in the knees, and then take the feet like you're pedaling really fast. Left, right, left, right, left, right. See if you can get different wobbles. Point your toes, flex your feet. Point your toes, flex your feet. And then take some wobbles that way. See if you can get your legs and your feet to soften. We did a lot of work on our legs and feet. And bring it up to a seat. So you may want to throw something, a blanket underneath your hips for a little bit. Left leg stays strong. Right leg crosses just over left. See if you can grab the right foot and bring some circulation here. Just kind of feel your foot. Notice what's here. Bring both hands here. Really notice your foot. Little self-massage to the foot, the top of the foot. Don't forget the side edge of the foot. And then plant the left foot. Bring the left knee bent. Maybe bring the heel a little closer to the glute. Strong leg, right leg. So flex the foot, press the knee away. Try not to take too much weight into the arms. And then unravel, switch sides. So right leg down, left leg crosses just over right knee. And bring some circulation to this foot.
We put weight in the same spot on top of each foot.
Slowly bring the right foot towards the right glute. Knee bent. Press the left knee away from your active leg. Slowly unravel. Other side. Bring the left knee bent. Right ankle just below. This time you're going to let the right foot land on the ground and bring your torso with it. Both hands are going to find the ground. You're going to take the left leg long. Flex the foot. Lift and hover left leg.
I think I know how to grab out into the pose now.
Lift and hover the left foot. Find the inner thigh. Little pulses. You can also bring this down to the forearm. You really just want your upper body to be comfortable, no tweaks. So take the tension out of the upper body. Take all the focus into the inner thigh. Little pulses. it down. Press into the right hand. And then maybe bring the left hand down too. And lift and hover the foot. See if you can bring some weight onto the hands, lift and hover. It's not easy. It's just a playful thing to do. Bring it back, switch sides. So I'm going to turn. So switching sides, left ankle goes under right knee. Then left foot finds the ground, right leg lengthens, and we're gonna lift the right foot, pulse it up. Find a comfortable position with your torso, forearm down, whatever feels okay. A little pressure into the left foot just to keep you nice and stable. And then to play, maybe bring both hands, a little weight into the hands, press into the hands, lift and hover the right foot. So pressing into the left, pressing into the hands, hold and hover, and bring it down. Switch it over, shake the legs out, and find your back. So back where we started. Time to start checking in. See how the body feels. Bring both feet about mat width apart, not too close to the glutes. Let the hips settle. Take the right knee over to the right, left knee in towards center. Press the left knee down actively. So finding hip flexor on the front, the left side. Press it down into the ground. Press the knee towards the ground. Let the left hip pop up. Find open up. Front hip flexor, left hip flexor. The front of the thigh space. To push the knee down to the ground. It's all you have to push actively. Push the hand. Push the hip up. Huh? Slowly bring the knees all the way over to the other side, allowing so the left knee goes wherever. The focus is on the right knee coming down towards center and pushing the right hip up. So we're finding the hip flexor space. The whole front of the right hip. Press the knee down, push the hip up. Mindful of any back tweaks. Take the tension out of the neck, the shoulders. Slowly bring the knees back up towards the ceiling and take a little soft shuffle left and right with the hips. Just loosening and softening any tension resting around the hip space and the lower back. Slowly walk the feet back in about hip distance apart. Take right knee over left. Bring the knees in towards the chest and bring the feet towards opposite shoulders. Breathe. Plant the right arm down on the ground. Let the right shoulder really find the ground. Keep it glued there. Then let the knees come over to the left. Right foot is going to find the ground. Left foot finds the ground. Let the knees hover here, and our focus is on the rib cage from the armpit down to the lower ribs on the right side. So imagine more space in this space. More space between each rib. Send your breath here, and you can support your knees with your left hand. This is too intense on your low back. really focus on sending your breath into the upper right rib cage. Tension out of the neck and the face. Slowly unravel. Bring the knees back. Switch knees. Left knee on top. Knees come towards chest. Feet come towards opposite shoulders. Breathe. Allow the left hand to find the ground, left shoulder to really glue on to the ground. Finding the ground first, then let your knees come all the way over to the right, nice and slow. Find your feet on the ground wherever is comfortable. Focusing on left rib cage from the armpit to the lower ribs, opening up this space. So sending your breath here. As if freeing any tension resting in around the rib cage. Slowly bring the knees back to center. Unravel. We'll take left foot to the very left corner of your mat. Take right foot to the very right corner. Take a shuffle with the hips. Take a shuffle with the shoulders. Find yourself on the ground. Experiment with your hands a little closer to your hips, a little further away. Experiment with your palms up or your palms down. What feels better today? Have an internal experience about where your body is at today. Change it up a little. Notice your holding patterns. And if the one that feels more uncomfortable just because it's the one that you don't usually do, perhaps try doing it anyway. Just noticing why it might be uncomfortable. Starting to just feel what it is that makes that your less go-to pattern. Maybe you always bring your hands onto your stomach. Perhaps today, bringing your hands to the ground. See if you can do it. See if you can breathe into that holding pattern and notice what it is. Notice why it is, perhaps. Or just notice the feeling of something different. Starting to let go and soften into the ground. Perhaps even taking a moment to say to yourself, right here in this moment, all of my needs are met. I can soften and I can take a break. Beginning to let go, land on the ground. All the work is done. So perhaps beginning to take a body scan from the tips of the toes to the crown of the head to the tips of the fingers. Just noticing what is present. Noticing what is different from the start of practice. Noticing how you feel physically, mentally, and emotionally. And giving yourself space for the fact that there are no right or wrong answers to any of those questions. We can allow space for whatever is present, negative emotion or positive, or maybe even begin to allow space for the concept of emotion just being emotion without label. beginning to meet ourselves where we're at with kindness, with compassion, giving ourselves a little space. And then either remaining as you are or curling up in a fetal position in whatever side is calling to you. We're going to move on to a short meditation practice. Just a mental exercise. So taking a look at your physical self, noticing any feedback you have in your physical body, aches, pains, muscles that are tired, muscles that are all of a sudden there that you didn't know were there. Whatever is present, notice physical self. And then repeat these sentences. I am my physical self. I am more than my physical self. And then take a quick check-in on the emotional layer. Notice what is present without label, without judgment. Just notice, feel. Feel in this sense of just being present. Feel what is here. I am my emotions. I am more than just my emotions. Accepting that they are there, and then accepting that they are not the whole picture. Notice the thoughts. Notice what is present. I am my thoughts. I am more than just my thoughts. Accepting and allowing that our thoughts are thoughts, and noticing that we are something more than just our thoughts. Feeling our energy, maybe just connecting with how you feel. Maybe you feel tired, maybe you feel energized. Just feeling that energetic layer of the body. I am made of energy. I am more than just energy. And then see if you can find a metaphysical heart center, the center below all of those layers. heart that begins our spark of life and remains unchanged. Unchanged by the mental layer, the emotional layer, the physical layer. This layer beneath us, this truest, essential layer. Our bliss layer. Take a moment to connect within here, below all the other layers, as if we're charging in your own bliss layer, plugging in. Trying not to become too alert, come on back to a seated position. Bring your hands to prayer and heart space. Still trying to remain connected into this bliss layer. The center, below all of the other moving parts. Connecting within. Getting to know the layer beneath all the layers, so that when things go awry in all of the other layers, we can easily plug in and connect into this center. Connect with bringing your left and right sides to meet in front of your heart. This gesture of accepting ourselves as whole and complete. Precisely as we are. No matter what is going on in any of the layers, we are whole and complete, precisely as we are. May we all know love, light, and connection. Thanks for joining us.